All right, guys, so here we have the new and refreshed 2024 Hyundai Elantra SEL. Someone's trying to look at this one, so I'm gonna try and go through it as quickly as possible, but I still wanna show everything. This one comes in Serenity white, so it's that pearl white, and then we have the gray cloth interior. And the powertrain for this Elantra SEL is a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine, and that's mated to the intelligent variable transmission. So one of my favorite things about the refreshed Elantra is gonna be this front end here. We finally get LED headlamps standard on this SEL trim. And we have the LED daytime running lights as well. And I like the sleeker look. Looks really good, I think. Now around to the wheels here, these are gonna be 16-inch alloy. I like that look as well. We get passive keyless entry on the front. And then one-touch automatic up and down for the driver's side window, just regular power windows for the other 3. Rear window lock there. Power door lock controls here. We can pick a side for the power mirrors and adjust either side using that dial. Little map pocket here. Pedals there. We have a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And then here we have our driver's seat, so we can pump the seat up or down, adjust the seat back, or move the seat forward and back. And then we have a trunk release here and then a gas cap. That's the release for that there. But I want to give a huge shout out to Hyundai of Cool Springs for allowing me to review this car today. I'll leave a link below in the description. You all can pause anywhere you need to take a closer look at the window sticker. I'm sorry for the bird droppings. Again, I had to get this going. And then back here, now the legroom was actually better before I messed with the seat just now, but very, very great legroom. My legs are just barely grazing the back of the seat here, so it was more like this. But again, I just adjusted the seat and messed that up, so I apologize. And I still have about an inch or so of headroom. And then we could put a plastic hanger or metal hanger on that hook there if you want to hang your shirts. 2 USB-C charge ports back here, that's great. And now let's go ahead and make our way towards the back. Gas cap there. And there's a look at the back end. And then we can either use that release up front or hit this button here. So to get the seat folded down, you have to pull both sides there. And that allows you to pull the whole seat down, as this is all one piece. So you can fold that flat, run longer objects to the front. And then you have your anchors down here. Just notice there are no seat back pockets on either side. That's interesting. I'm sure it saves on cost. And with this one being only $25,375, can't really complain there. I don't ever use mine anyway. We do have the storage pocket on the side there. Glove compartment, owner's manuals. And then back to the front end here. There we have the engine bay with that 2-liter 4-cylinder. And now let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So we have that same nice modern 4-spoke steering wheel that we've seen in the newer Hyundais. There's the horn there. Over here to that 10.25-inch screen, we do get navigation standard. And then we have all of our different options here. We do have AM, FM, and XM radio, along with Bluetooth audio. And then we also have our Apple CarPlay, Android Auto compatibility. We get that wired. And then settings are all in here. Go to general, and you can change your date and time, language, things of that nature. Backup cameras there. The guidelines follow as you turn the steering wheel. Hazards are there. I like how that illuminates with the actual hazards. And then volume knob is here. You can click there to set that audio off. And then we have shortcuts for the map, nav, media. Then we can set up our favorites here. And then dual zone automatic climate controls. You have 3 different fan speeds for that auto mode, which I love. And you can turn that off just by adjusting the fan speed. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. You can adjust either side's temperature here, and then fan direction, you can adjust where you want that to come from there. USB-C port, USB-A port, 12 volt, little storage pocket there. And then for the shifter, just pull down reverse neutral drive, come over here to manually shift. And then your drive modes can be adjusted, normal, sport, and smart there. And then that parking camera there. Emergency brake, bottle holders here. And then there's the center console cubby space. And then we have a view of the back seat. And then blinkers, headlamp controls. Again, I'm sorry for rushing through this. I just have to finish this as quickly as possible. And then we do have our windshield wiper controls. So there's one time off, intermittent, low, high. We can adjust the intermittent here. And then there's the front wiper fluid. Voice recognition. This mode button is what you can use to go through the audio sources. You can adjust volume here and then click to mute. And then you can go through radio station presets right there. Phone button, favorites button for the steering wheel. And then we have our cruise controls. We can turn that on or off there, adjust speed, and then we can pause or resume there. And then we have the lane centering assistant there. And then these buttons are for the gauge cluster. So here, this goes through your sub menus, and then within each sub menu, you can scroll up or down or hit OK to go through all of that. And then once you're in a place where you can hold for the settings, you can adjust that right over here. But push button start. Here's the key fob with remote start. Next, we're gonna go ahead and take this Elantra SEL out on the road for a quick test drive. So starting the test drive in this Elantra SEL, even though it has a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, it still gets up relatively well. Now, I much prefer the 1.6-liter turbo with the dual clutch transmission, just because I think that's more fun to drive, but this is probably more practical, and for most people, it's more than enough power. And then in sport mode here, just pretty peppy. Having a continuously variable transmission, or an intelligent variable transmission, excuse me, it allows you to just shift faster because you're not necessarily shifting, right? So you can drive pretty quickly in terms of just getting up to speed because you're not having to worry about the shift points. But it also allows you to be more fuel efficient as well, because the transmission's always just trying to keep you in where you're trying to be, if that makes sense. Now, this powertrain is a carryover from the 23 models, but the sound system I found pretty impressive. Now, I don't know if it was just me, maybe just the settings hadn't been touched, but for a stock sound system, it sounds pretty good. And of course, everything else pretty much is the same interior-wise. We do get the nice 10.25-inch instrument cluster as well as a navigation screen. So I just like how all this is laid out, especially having everything digital here for this price point. And the higher you get in the RPMs, this does tend to start pulling pretty well, so that's impressive. So it definitely has pretty good passing power, again, for a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. But we're gonna try and give it a little pull here. Again, with this IVT, you're not having to worry about sluggish shift points or anything like that. It's just kind of going. So where it quote unquote shifted, that wasn't really a big deal. It just kept accelerating. So that just, I find that quite impressive. I have the cruise on now. So the lane centering pretty much just is for highway maneuvering. Even on the exit ramp here, this one in particular, Hyundai's system doesn't like that, where it has a curve off. but it's just a good standard safety feature to have, I think. Now again, for the money, I think this is a pretty good deal. I shouldn't say there aren't. I mean, you have the Toyota Corolla, you have the Honda Civic, but with this in particular, it's just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. You're not having a turbocharger on your engine. I mean, it's just I think it's in a class of its own, especially for the price and the standard features that you get here. And I do like that this is it's so simple to drive. It's safe. In today's market, it's pretty affordable. And it's just something where if you want to have a little spirited of a drive, you can do that with the sport mode. But also, if you're going to be traveling for work, doing a lot of commuting, pretty good room in here, and then you're getting 40 miles per gallon on the highway. So my headroom here, several inches there. The width of the seat is just wide enough for my wider stature, and it's relatively comfortable for a manual cloth seat. And of course, you can upgrade a lot of this stuff if you want to, but especially if you're just looking to save money, this SEL trim level, I think, is the way to do it. Getting your navigation system, your blind spot monitors, and then this Serenity white, it looks beautiful. So I think it's a pretty good buy, especially for the price point again. But this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Hyundai Elantra in the SEL trim level.